Okay, everybody, just Wayne again. So this will be the second video I was talking about. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of a map of Uganda and where we'll be working with different people and different organizations through this fundraiser. Our main partner in this in Uganda for the last 6-7 years that I've been serving with is called New Hope Uganda. In North America, it's called New Hope Uganda Ministries. In Uganda, because it's Ugandan owned, it's New Hope Uganda. But anyways, it's a children's center that started back in the 80s. I think they just celebrated their 30th year. And anyways, so I just wanted to tell you that and then show you some different locations. So if I can get this to focus. Okay, so Kampala is their capital right here, and straight north of Kampala, if you come up to a little town called Luero, and we go west of Luero, and this area right in here is where the Kasana Children's Center is at, and that's the main location for New Hope Uganda. And so we'll be working with that organization and the local church in the, I think it's Kiwoko Community Church. No, actually I think it's Kasana Community Churches who's organizing the food drive. And keep in mind, in all these locations, the main focus is widows and elderly people that are food deficient, that are in desperate need of food because of the lockdown. I can't remember if I talked about it on my previous Facebook post, but basically what you have to understand for Uganda and a lot of African countries is the governments do not have the resources or capabilities to do what America did. They don't have the money and the hospitals and the infrastructure to treat 34 million people. So their solution is everybody gets forced to literally lock down in their homes, and they cannot leave their homes. And that's enforced by the police and the military, including physical violence. We do have that that has been documented in a town called Mbali, which I'll show you that, and some other places. So it's getting bad. It's actually getting pretty bad. And this is one of those cases where the thought and the actions to try and prevent a disease or prevent this virus is actually going to kill more people than the virus does. So we're just all prayerful that the government lightens up. They just extended the home lockdown for another 21 days. This happened 4 or 5 days ago. And the people are already desperate. And so their culture, they don't save money. So what little money and food they had on hand, once it's gone, the people in the big cities don't have what they call gardens to grow food. And so this is where it's getting, the worst of it is beginning to happen. So to go back to that Kasana Children's Center that's operated by New Hope Uganda, that is going to be our main partner in this. Another area that we're going to be working is in Kampala. I have a young man there that I'm working with in an organization where they go into the slums, and that's a lot of times that's where the refugees that come in from the Congo and Rwanda and Sudan and stuff like that, they'll go into these big cities. So the slums with the refugee camps are in big trouble. And so this young man and another guy both have a boda or a motorcycle, and they're buying food and hauling it into the slums and giving it to people, particularly the refugee camps, because they're in the worst shape. Excuse me. Then in this town called Jinja, there's a young man in there that used to be with New Hope Uganda, and he has experience in, about 3 years ago they had a serious drought that lasted about 1.5 years. So we did a bunch of fundraising to buy food for to be given out to the people that were being affected by the drought, and he was part of that. So I'm partnering with him in the city of Jinja, which is a big city. Again, he's going to be targeting him and his pastor at their church. They're going to be targeting the widows and elderly first, and then moving on from there. In Bali, which I talked to you briefly about that's another big city. I think they have around 4 or 5 million people in that city as well. Same deal, people are starving to death in their homes because they can't get out and find work, and they don't have any land to grow on. The fourth location, we'll be working with Sid Sparks, and that with the Musana camps, and it's I think in this area or in this area, it's somewhere around in here. They've been hit very hard, the children camp, because with the lockdown, they can't get anybody, they can't get the groups in there and to support the staff. So they've had to lay off staff who don't have a job to go to. So there's some widows that work for them and some big families that are going to be in need. So we're getting some money to them as well. And then the last location, we haven't heard of any need yet, but up here by Soroti, it's actually a little bit below Soroti. It's a Kumi. When we hit Kumi, then we turn and we go into this area. And I've posted several times on that in the past. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's called Kobun Children's Center. Just beautiful people, awesome people. But they have land, and so they're growing gardens. So as of right now, we have not heard any need from that area, but we just keep in touch with them. So anyways, just kind of give you a brief look of where we're going to be working and who we're working with over there while we fundraise. Again, if you guys have any questions, concerns, anything like that, just PM me through Facebook or send me a message and your phone number, and I'll text you or whatever. Thanks, and God bless.